What you are about to see are the unexplained deaths of two people. Their names are Mr. and Mrs. Tom Walker. Tom was a troubled farmer who was trying to make ends meet and support an unappreciative wife. He encountered the devil in a forest near Boston. The exact location is unknown. It is said that he resisted the devil's offer and tried to go about his honest work. His wife, however, had other plans. She was greedy and wanted the riches for herself. Unfortunately, things never worked out well for either of them.
I've gone by various names over the years. I am the wild huntsman in some countries, the black miner in others. I've been known as the Black Woodsman, the Stranger, Old Scratch. I preside at the persecution of Quakers and Anabaptists. They dubbed me the great patron and prompter of slave dealers, and the Grand Master of the Salem Witches. But in the end, it doesn't really matter what any of them call me after all. They're all speaking to the same fella.
One day, Tom was walking home and he decided to take a shortcut through the woods. And he found a skull.
Hey! You leave that skull alone, you hear me now, boy?
And who might you be?
What are you doing on my land?
I thought this was Deacon Peabody's land.
What you is? Deacon Peabody's dead! You see all these trees here? Each one represents a person. And when that tree falls, that means that person's dead. This tree right here represents Deacon Peabody.
What right do you have to cut down Mr. Deacon Peabody's tree?
You see all this land here? It's mine by right of ownership. Out of all the people in this town, I decide their fate by when I turn their tree into firewood.
Who you is then?
I've gone by various names in the last few years. I'm called the Black Miner in some places and the Wild Huntsman in others.
So you're who they call Old Scratch.
Mm-hmm.
Tom had no fear of the devil, and the two had a lengthy conversation as Tom walked homeward. The devil told Tom of great treasures buried long ago in the forest the devil now had under his command. The devil offered Tom these riches if he agreed to his conditions. Tom needed time to ponder the devil's offer, for he was not a man to stick at trifles when money was in view.
What proof do I have that you be telling the truth?
This is my mark.
Tom's wife was a tall termagant, fierce of temper, loud of tongue, and strong of arm. Her voice was heard often in wordy warfare with her husband. He was not prone to let his wife into confidence, but he shared the devil's offer with his wife.
The devil offers great sums of money if I comply to his terms.
Comply with him. We could be wealthy for life.
Many quarrels did they have on the subject, but Tom was determined not to agree with the devil to obligate his wife.
I will be damned before I sacrifice myself to gain riches for your spoiled soul.
Tom's wife, determined to bargain on her own account, decided to put matters into her own hands. She filled her apron with silver pots and spoons and other valuables and left home. She wanted to gain all the riches for herself and met with the black man in the woods. The devil offered her the same terms as her husband, and she quickly agreed.
What was her real fate? Nobody knows, in consequence of so many pretending to know. It is one of those facts which have become confounded by a variety of historians. Some asserted that she lost her way among the tangled mazes of the swamp, and sank into some pit or slough. Others, more uncharitable, hinted that she had eloped with the household booty, and made off to some other province, while others surmised that the tempter had decoyed her into a dismal quagmire. On the top of her, which was found lying in confirmation of this, it was said a great black man with an axe on his shoulder was seen late that very evening, coming out of the swamp carrying a bundle tied in a check apron with an air of surly triumph.
Tom waited and waited for her, but in vain. Midnight came, but she did not make her appearance. Morning, noon, and night returned, but still she did not come.
50, 51, 200, 201, 202.
Tom now grew uneasy for her safety. Another night elapsed. Another morning came, but no wife. In a word, she was never heard of more.
Where'd you go? I miss you so. Seems like it's been forever that you've been gone.
At length, it is said, when delay had whetted Tom's eagerness to the quick, and prepared him to agree to anything, rather than not gain the promised treasure, he met the black man one evening in his usual woodsman's dress, with his axe on his shoulder, sauntering along the swamp and humming a tune. Finding Tom so squeamish on this point, he did not insist upon it, but proposed instead that he should turn usurer, the devil being extremely anxious for the increase of usurers, looking upon them as his peculiar people. To this no objections were made, for it was just to Tom's taste.
You shall open a broker's shop in Boston next month.
I will do it tomorrow.
You will charge 2% interest.
I'll charge 4.
Deal.
Deal.
My family will be ruined and brought upon the parish.
Charity begins at home. I must take care of myself in these hard times.
You have made so much money out of me.
The devil take me if I have made a farthing.
Just then there were 3 loud knocks at the door. He stepped out to see who was there.
Tom, you have comfort.
The black man whisked him like a child into the saddle, gave the horse a lash, and away he galloped with Tom on his back in the midst of a thunderstorm.
Such was the end of Tom Walker and his ill-gotten wealth. Let all gripping money brokers lay this story to heart. The truth of it is not to be doubted. The very hole under the oak trees, whence he dug Kid's money, is to be seen to this day. In the neighboring swamp and old Indian fort are often haunted in stormy nights by a figure on horseback, in morning gown and white cap, which is doubtless the troubled spirit of the usurer. In fact, the story had resolved itself into a proverb, so prevalent throughout New England, of the devil and Tom Walker.
No,
Way too early.
you have to.
So much money out of me.
The devil takes me. The devil take me?
He stepped out to see who was there.
You have comfort.
Hey, you guys sure this is part of the book?
Who cares?
Good.
So as you can see,
Can I put it?
the devil
Don't.
in an ideal world would not survive this.